Hi guys, we're here at Pass.ng interviewing the team behind this very successful startup. They saw a need and decided to provide a solution to this need. Statistics show that every year 70% of the candidates who sit for national examinations fail. So they came up with an idea to set up an e-testing platform for these students. And so far, they have recorded a very huge success. I don't know how many of you are excited to meet them, but well, I am. So keep watching.
Hi, I'm Joshua, CTO and co-founder.
My name is Samson Abioye, CEO and co-founder of Pass.ng.
Hi, I'm Imole Oluyemi, co-founder and product lead here at Pass.ng.
Thanks for having me here at Pass.ng. It's a very lovely space you have.
Thank you.
So tell us, how and when did you start Pass.ng?
We started Pass.ng together while we were in university. Yes, we all studied computer science. I studied computer engineering.
So I'm the only computer science guy.
So I studied computer.
12 of us actually.
Yeah. So, but when you're in computer science and it's a department, computer science and engineering, so we got to do some courses together.
Yeah, we did a lot of courses.
Yeah, and there we met. We beat Pass.ng in school. What actually led us to it was when we had some of our friends while we were in school, they are yet to gain admission into university, and this due to the massive failure rate that is experienced year upon year, right?
Yeah. Which is really terrible.
Yeah, it was, because then I was in 300, couldn't get admission.
Some of our parents still have it.
Yes.
And this situation was even actually getting really worse. Somebody has to do something about it.
Yes, yeah. From statistics, 70% of candidates that write such examinations fail every year. So it's like a big weakness for the government, right? Because people have to buy forms the next year.
And just like what they say, you use the money to plant flowers.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? So we think we could actually help the situation and the reason for Pass.ng. Yeah. Thank you.
So what are the steps you took at the starting up phase?
That's a great question.
I must say at this point that there are actually four of us. So the fourth guy is still back in school in his final year currently. So both of us have to graduate like 2 years before him. I think that's why the three of us, people get to see most. He will be joining us all by next year, I'm sure. So there are four of us that started this. And let me ask something.
When the idea came around, we used to be developers. Like, we were in a group in the school, the developers group, and we kind of organized trainings and tutorial for students who are in lower levels who actually want to learn programming too. So we've been friends. When I thought about this idea, I felt it's a very big vision and it's something I cannot do on my own. And I intend to call my super geeks. I know they're the next guys to me. They're very good. We will implement this all together. And so we had to call Joshua. Joshua is very, very good in enterprise application development. So he had to handle the web and the desktop application for Pass. And while Imole is very good when it comes to the user experience, user interface, he's a designer to the core and now the product lead. Together with Abayomi is a fantastic mobile app developer. So he developed the mobile application on Android.
Yeah.
Right? You remember when we called him in that moment?
Yeah, he was just looking like young and everybody's just learning. But then he gave us more passion to the work.
Yeah.
Gave himself really to the work and he did the nice work.
And he writes everything. He does everything.
Come on, don't mind that. Don't mind that.
Back in school, to me, was arguably the best programmer ever. So he's probably one of those guys that really inspired each and every one of us members of the team. Like Joshua used to be a student under him for a particular programming like the Math Lab. I remember.
That's where we met.
Yes. And personally, we had a high tea and same place in school, 400 level. So we get to meet and talk and stuff about business side of things and other things. So there we got inspired. We knew we could actually work together. So when this whole Pass.ng stuff started, we knew we already have ourselves a team. So then we had to start.
Yeah, because the skill set of the team actually matters a lot. Everybody has their own specific role, their specific skill sets that they all bring to the table. Even before we went abroad to get some other people to join us on the team, the four of us were able and effectively able to execute these tasks, to carry out this trip. Remember the first day when we had to do this, we all had to type the questions ourselves, jam past questions. We had to source. Yes, very serious. We did sleepless nights on campuses. We left our hostel. We weren't sleeping in the hostel again for almost a year. We didn't have money or no, so as such, the little we had, we bought servers and some other things with it.
I think practically then we used to get works outside, outsource work, people that outsource work to us, and then we build it, use the money and fund it.
To fund Pass.ng, exactly. So the team actually made it work. It was full of exciting and interesting people. Yeah, even back then. Yeah.
Sounds very, very interesting. So in the field of technology, who inspires you? What quality development inspires you?
Well, for me, it's Gates. Gates is close to it because he's an introvert, and then the way he executed the Microsoft, for me, it has been like a role model that I can look up to. When I was developing my programming skill, I used almost all the Gates projects, Microsoft projects. Then to find out that there's a geek behind this, that's what all Mac, that's what I'm making.
Yeah, so me, mine should be Richard Branson of United Kingdom. I just like the guy. From age 16, he already started his magazine company. He knew school was just not for him. He had this condition, I think dyslexia or something like that. So he wasn't really pursuing other people's whatever. He knows what he wants in life and he was after it.
Yeah.
And that's one. Two, he's one of those guys that doesn't fear to fail. He loves to have fun at the same time. Work and have fun at the same time, and he doesn't follow rules. He breaks them. So as you can see, I'm like the only guy that didn't put on.
That doesn't mean I follow rules. So
No, not that. I'm just saying that doesn't mean they follow rules actually.
Yeah.
But it's just that I like this fun kind of life. He knows what he wants, despite all the kind of lifestyle he leads. He was able to build one of the biggest companies in the world. He runs a conglomerate. He's a billionaire in pounds sterling. Current net worth is like 5.1 billion USD. I want to get to that point. I want to surpass it. There's several ways I could just keep going and going. Up to South.
Just like Joshua mentioned, my own is Bill Gates. I personally like him because he's a smart dude. In his SAT score, he had 4,999 over 5,000. Just one score away, from the final mark. It's somebody I love him for his dexterity. He's so much focused. If he said he's going to get this done, I watched a documentary about him and I saw him sleeping in the office underneath the table, and I learned all of this from him. When I was in school too, I practically did the same. If I said I'm going to get a project done, get a software written, and I don't even know about it before, I get it all done at the end of the day. And he's such an happy man too. More reason why I like him. He's so happy with himself. When he gives out, he donates, he's happy doing it. He sees it as a way of saving people's life, and he's very contented. So I love him. Bill Gates is very inspirational. Back then in school, some people nicknamed me Big Gates, and I humbly accepted.
And I can say that it's actually on that way to become that Big Gates. I must say that Samson as a person is very much on that way. He inspires a whole lot of us, including myself.
Now they do to me.
I remember back then he practically built the school's website. Ladoke Akotola University of Technology, that's where we graduated from anyway. He practically built that school's website. I remember him telling the school he no longer wants to work with them. He was working with them. Well, I too had to work with the school because we kind of did a IT place. But he was so instrumental to the success of the whole IT part of the school that when he told them he was leaving, it was very hard for them to let him go. But he knew something bigger awaits. He couldn't just stay there. and it's something that people like us, imbibed and really has helped us up to this point.
By the way, we both ran away from
Yeah.
So what challenges did you have to overcome and when starting out?
Yeah, a lot. But thankfully, above all, we surmounted it. So we can share right now with joy. Yes, and there's still so many ways we still dealing with. We hope to solve them too. One was the issue with convincing people that, convincing especially parents who happens to be the enforcer, who should have been the enforcer for this product, convincing them that the student could as well learn on the mobile device. Because that has to be a mobile solution, something that they could access on their phones anywhere they are. And some kind of parents are very skeptical about this. They're wondering, how am I sure my child is actually learning on his phone? So we had to educate the parent. We had to create more awareness together with our partners. We had to let parents know that there are technologies, there are products like this that could be used on their phones, and it could serve as a learning aid to help them in their exams. Of course, we have some other ones about that.
Yeah. Personally, I think the challenges will be on two faces. We would look at we versus our users, and we ourselves. We ourselves a whole lot. Well, we were lucky enough to get investors, very able investors, Pass.ng, who our angel investors, who saw into this vision and brought us over from school. So we were finishing school and we're stepping into this. Just like what Samson did, he said in one of the interviews he had with CNBC Africa, he said the almost 6 months or so.
Yeah, almost 6
3 months initially that we used for incubation. We could say that we got in an MBA in business because they took people who were, fresh out of school, had little or no information or knowledge about running a business.
Engineer to the core.
Yes, and then they turned us into people who could run something like this, and we are not scared to see this company grow and scale into a bigger company going forward, because we know that we could handle this going by the kind of training that we have gone through. That, and then when we got to Lagos, several of us don't even stay in Lagos. Me, I kind of stay in Lagos, but I have not been in Lagos for a long time because our school is far away. So we had to adjust to that life and a lot of things. We did a lot of nights to ensure that the product is ready. My CTO here, Joshua, is so super duper awesome. He worked tirelessly, day and night to make sure that this the very first version.
Spend like 48 hours.
Yes,
like 48 hours.
Yes, at a stretch. We don't leave the office. We are always there. We just take our, wash our face and stuff, and then
continue.
Yes, we had to work because we had to make this work.
And then, considering the distance, we were here at Ikoyi, and for instance, I stay at Mushin. It is a very long distance. You had to go all the way from 5 a.m. spend 2 hours on Third Mainland. And him too, right? From Ajah to Ikoyi. So the distance was. I live in
Ikorodu. I had to come from Ikorodu to Ikoyi on a daily basis. And when it got to a point that we couldn't do that again, we had to stay in the office and work. Because as work demanded, we had to, respond accordingly. Which has been awesome. Well, thank God now, but not as though we've relaxed now. Still much more work to do. Well, we're trying not to do nights nowadays.
And I can remember when we started this at first, one of the challenges we had was actually having capable hands to come work with us.
Yes.
So, I told you earlier on that we had to type every single question in our very first application. We're programmers, so we're just supposed to design the product, build it, and we're supposed to like give somebody else like, hey, this is a 5,000 naira, come on, digitize all of this content for us. We took it upon ourselves to start digitizing. It was the last year. And at the same time too, we run out of money to get internet to buy data on our phones. Sometimes when we tell people to download Pass.ng mobile app, then they kind of say, I don't have data on my phone. So we give people money to also buy data so they could download our app. And then it was all for free. So getting people on board at first was a whole lot of issues, especially because it's still more internet. To sell paper is much more easier than to sell product. But once people were on it, first year we had 100,000 people, and the conversion was very high. I mean, the people who passed the examinations. So it was way easier for us to convince students going forward that this is a very good tool for you and it could help you in the exam. So challenges are there. Right now we're still facing it. Before we started this interview, the generator noise was a sort of concern for you. Yeah. So generator is right there. Sometimes you just power the whole AC, generator goes down. You have to switch on one AC for another. It's right there. You got to tell people, hey, don't go to YouTube. We are paying very much for data. Exactly. But above all, we are surmounting it.
And then we know that the future is very bright. Yeah, it will only get better from here. Yes, that's sure.
What differentiates Pass.ng from other similar businesses, Molly?
I remember someone asking Samson this question September 2014 when we started our incubation in Korea. He said one thing: we have a dream team. We have a team that is a envy of other teams. Our number one asset, our number one differentiating factor is that we have a team of persons who are the best at what they do, who are loyal, honest, and above all, fun to be with. Like, work is fun. That's number one. Well, number two is that right now in this space we have persons who do similar things that we do, but our content, for instance, is the best content ever because number one, it takes a whole lot of money, a whole lot of commitment, and the best possible team to aggregate and collect the best content for this that we do. Ranging from JAM to WAEC to NECO to post-UTME, over 50 universities. It's a whole lot of work. I mean, this is what we've been doing for the past 1.5 years. Baba, Eli. We've been working on this content. We have the best content that we can go to bed over, knowing fully well that if these students go through this content or use it, they will be the best for it. That's number two. Number three are the kind of partnerships that we have that no one else in this space before, now, and even after has. Okay. Yes, the kind of persons that we're willing to work with because they know that we represent the face of educational revolution in Nigeria. Because we don't just do this. We do this with the mind of changing the decadence in the educational sector of Nigeria. Everybody wants to make money, yes. But the ultimate goal for us is to see the face of education changing. We've been complaining about the government. Is it GFK that said it now? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We are young guys, but we are looking at, no matter how young we are, we can make a difference. Hence Pass.ng, and here we are. We could use this to change that education sector that everybody has been complaining, and then the government has been trying their best, but then it's not showing. We, on our home part, using our meager resources, could spring up this change, start this revolution, and make it work. And exactly that is what we are doing for the past 1 year, and we see that this change has started to take effect. Yes. And number three, lastly, will be our just concluded Pass Excellence Award. Where we rewarded 10 outstanding students in the last UTME. We are looking to expand it to other examinations and also expand the number of students that we are rewarding. You know, if your sister or your brother wants to write JAM or any of those pre-college exams, and knows that after writing this exam and passing, apart from the fact that mommy will be like, yeah, you passed. You know, your sister also did it one time, and then he passed, and everybody, the whole world knew for. So just be happy. Pray that they give you admission and then move on. They know that they are writing with the aim that they will write, they will pass with Pass.ng, and also they will be rewarded. Yeah. We know that someone starting from GSS1, knowing fully well that when they get to SS3 or SS2, writing all these pre-college exams, will get rewarded for their effort. They will start putting in the work from the GSS level. And we know that across that chain, there will be change in the mind of students. If you can get a 99, let me be realistic, a 90% figure of students from GSS1 to SS3 to change their mindset as touching educational excellence in Nigeria. I mean, let us start reading for our exams. We know that things will definitely and ultimately change in education in Nigeria.
So Joshua, where do you see Pass.ng from a few years from now?
Pass.ng a few years from now. What I see Pass.ng becoming is like a household name. And then a brand that is attached to success. Not only success of kids in Nigeria, but outside Nigeria. I want to scale it to a state that African students can go through this Pass.ng content and then become better in their academic lives.
So Sams, in your opinion, what are the major challenges faced by Nigerian startups, especially in the field of technology, and what solutions do you suggest?
It's a lot, but I can say it's getting better. In the field of technology, two things are very vital. That's power. Technology, remove power from technology, then there's nothing. Because you've got to automate the normal things people have been doing manually. So you've got power to do that. The other thing is data, internet. Thankfully, around here in Yaba, which has been a cluster of startups in Nigeria, there have been some support from the government and from well-meaning individuals and organizations who have come around and installed some fiber optics around Yaba. It's a good initiative, but how about if we have that throughout the whole nation? Yes, we have that in Port Harcourt, in Ibadan, in Sokoto, so that everybody don't have to come over here to Lagos, and even not just the whole of Lagos, and just Yaba. So data is still very expensive. You can imagine if a startup has to pay 150,000 naira on data every month. It's a lot. Now think of generator, or even of recent, it was so hard to even buy before. Very, very hard. You've got to wheel your generator to the filling station before you could buy for it. So if we can solve first the problem of power, that's the only difference we can have between Nigeria and Kenya. Nigeria are very much more entrepreneurial in their spirit. We're so dogged. We have this fighting and hustling spirit within us, unlike people in Kenya. But think about it, foreign investors, they still prefer to go to Kenya because they just have that infrastructure. And what's it like? Internet. There are roles, fine. But for a technology company, we need those two things to be put in place. And also, I'd like to add this to it, is funds. Why people think you could build anything without having access to a lot of funds and technology? Yeah, true. You need your computer. But at the same time, while you're building those things, you need people to work with you, and you've got to feed yourself. So in the startup company, it typically takes some number of months, number of years before they can stand on their own, and before you can start making revenue to sustain the company. So we need more investors also in this field. Investors are going to come around and they're going to help with mentoring. Investors are going to come around and they're going to help with access to the business network. And investors are going to come around and even provide cash investment into the company itself. So if we can get all this, we're privileged to get to have an investor early in the business, and I think it's actually a very contributing factor to our success at this moment. So it's something that I would love the government to help, especially that of power, and private sector too when it comes to data, make it accessible and affordable to startups. Investors, anywhere you are in the world, they're calling on you to come down to Nigeria. It's going to young minds. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be. At the heart of the nation, changing history. How can they say that we are finished? We have just begun when we have nowhere